Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 49th episode of Visioncon Live, your go-to nerdy talk show. I'm your host, Zach Wilson. You didn't come here to see me today. You came to meet the man of the hour. He's Rock Lee from the Naruto franchise, Davis from Digimon, Shark from Alpha Teens on Machines, just to name a few. He's a legendary actor with a big voice and an even bigger heart. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the one, the only, Brian Donovan. Brian, how are we doing today?
Woo! Man, oh man, dude, great intro. Thanks. I can look in the mirror tonight and be proud of myself.
It's something I hope you do every day.
Yeah. Well, some days easier than others, right? But yeah, thank you, man. Great to be here. Thank you, Zach Wilson, and thank you, Visioncon, and thank you for having me. Episode 49, folks. This is pretty special. In fact, a little trivia. What episode number was the famous Rock Lee Gara fight?
Ooh. Oh, I should know that. I'm going to, based on context clues.
Yep, there you go.
Sound right, but I'm going to go with episode 49.
48, 49, bled into 50. So Here we go, folks. Yep, it was meant to be. It was meant to be.
And the stars aligned.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Well, let's just jump right into it. Now, Brian, we all know and all love you and all of your work that you've done throughout the years. But what I want to start it off with is, how did we get here? Was showbiz always the plan, or did something happen later in life that kind of brought us here?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's funny. I think as a kid, I swirled around a lot of different things. I mean, I loved playing, scrimmage football with my buddies, and the neighbors in my neighbor's yard, and fireman crossed my mind. I'm talking single digit dreamer stuff. But I think when I finally got to high school and I started doing plays and musicals and I started performing more, but the bug was always there. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit, I think, about my documentary about my little sister called Kelly's Hollywood. And her and I were big cheerleaders for each other. And we were really big performers. And so from a really young age, my sister and I were performers. I mean, it was in our DNA. And we were very fortunate to have each other because we cheered each other on. We were each other's audience and some best, fans. And so to have that kind of love and adoration from your sibling and have kind of in your household a fan that's cheering you on no matter what you do, true unconditional love, and vice versa. I mean, I gave her the same back. But to have that support was awesome. And it allowed me as a performer, really, maybe not necessarily at the time of being aware of it, but certainly in hindsight and looking back at that time, she really did free me up. I mean, she allowed me to be a much better performer than I probably would have been without her and that unconditional love. So it was always kind of there. And then in college, same thing. I did plays. And then I was a DJ at the college radio station, which was a big station in Cleveland at the time, WUJC. And so that really got me, I guess, primed and prepped for a voice career, right? And so that's what I did. When I came to Hollywood, I had spliced and diced about 30 tapes that I handed out of my DJ days and just all that work that I'd done on the radio. And I was able to score a gig. My first job was a McDonald's commercial, a radio commercial for McDonald's. And the casting person who I had handed a tape to said, "Hey, I got one line in this radio commercial, but I'm willing to give you a chance and a try if you want it." And I was like, oh my God, I was frothing at the mouth. I was like, yes, please. And so I did that. And that was the start of my, Hollywood acting professional career. And I got paid, I think it was, $179 for, I was in and out of the studio in less than 6 minutes. And I was like, holy crap, it was the most money I'd ever made. And certainly in that kind of time. But yeah, so it was thrilling, just to score the first gig. So I guess, the trajectory, it wasn't like I pined to be like this Hollywood actor when I was a kid. But it was definitely, woven throughout my life and the choices I made, throughout my teens and through college. And then obviously finally at 23, delivering a car to Hollywood, to pursue the dream.
Well, and I mean, it's a career that has definitely blown up ever since your teens. And I want to talk about 3 characters real quick. The first one being, and guys, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about him. He's in the bottom right of Brian's screen. That, of course, is the one and only Mr. Rock Lee.
Oh, yeah. Woo! What?
Before we dive too much into Rock Lee, I just wanted to ask just kind of a brief overview, kind of how you got the role, any funny anecdotes attached to Lee, anything at all.
Yeah, I got the chronology of my anime career, and really, what I think tipped it for me was I was Tony Goodman on Flint the Time Detective, which was a lesser known series, but the same team that did that then did Digimon, and then that team went on to do Naruto. And so I was kind of I was very fortunate because when I scored Digimon, they could see that I could hold my own on a very popular show, and the character was really well received. And so when they were casting Rock Lee in Naruto, they invited me to audition, which is awesome. It's like a great place to be in your career, to like be asked to audition, because then you're at the forefront of possibility, right? And that's kind of what happened. They didn't really know what they wanted. They were having trouble, trying to figure out Rock Lee and what they could do, because he's a quirky character, as we all know. And but when I went in, I did it and I had the blessing of the team. So again, that builds like a confidence that you don't always have when you're auditioning, especially with people you don't know, or a team of producers you don't know and creators. But that one I felt really confident. But Rock Lee's really interesting because his mannerisms, the way he speaks with no contractions, is very different. I think you thought I was from California because I definitely have kind of a California twang and a vibe, that I've been here for 30 years, right? And but Rock Lee's not that at all. And so I really had to kind of find, that and find a very kind of stilted, Rock Lee. I mean, of course, when he's emotional, it's like all over the map and so fun and outrageous and crazy, right? But the general, day-to-day Rock Lee is, is very, there's no contraction. So it's a very weird way to speak. And yeah, so that took a while. I mean, that took me a really long time to get comfortable, speaking that way and really kind of getting into the feel of Rock Lee, where I felt really comfortable and had a handle on it. And most actors would probably tell you that, it takes a few episodes to really kind of get in there. And that's, but yeah, it was awesome. I mean, the team's been great. None of us knew it was going to go to 700, almost 800 episodes. No one knew that, we would be doing this 13 years later. And, I'm still in Boruto, which is, amazing. And, yet another, just another branch of this universe, this Naruto universe. And so, yeah, it's been an incredible ride. It's been a really stunning gift, unexpected gift, and especially the popularity of it. Is wild, I mean, I think there's a lot of purists in the anime, and it's almost like any band that becomes super popular, then people back away and like, oh no, I don't like you too, or I don't like, whatever, but they did, and I think like Naruto, it's gotten so popular. There's some purists are like, oh, I don't watch it, Naruto, but if they really admit it, or if you could kind of have their, crack into their FBI file, they probably watched Naruto and loved it, but they might not be willing to admit it now as they've advanced in years or their progression of their anime love and devotion. But yeah, I mean, it opened the gates, like Digimon and Pokemon. I think it opened the floodgates to anime on a very large scale, and it kind of, it popularized it, right? Frankly, and there's a lot more obscure, cool series and anime series. But those three, I think, were the juggernauts that really kind of opened the doors. And why Dragon Ball Z, of course, too. And but that's that and for me too, in my anime career, I mean, Digimon was a nice catapult, but Naruto kind of gave me roots into the whole anime and the longevity of it, and certainly the fandom, took it to another level.
It was very influential. And speaking of fandoms, I mean, the one for Rock Lee, myself included, so passionate. In fact, I was telling my friend once we got a date set for this interview, her favorite character in Naruto is Rock Lee, and I told her that, hey, voice actor's gonna be on the show, and she about jumped out of her shoes. My God. But
that's awesome.
And so, yeah, Rock Lee, definitely not just, one of those one-off characters. It's one of the core and one of the most interesting characters in the entire show. So I got to assume there must be some fond memories and moments that, really stick with you through the duration of that show.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a ton of them, and you know, when you do a show and you have the luxury and the, you know, to do a show for 12 years, there's plenty of them. But I think honestly, what's been so rewarding is really just what you described with your friend. I think when you do run into a Naruto fan or you run into a Rock Lee fan, they're a super fan. I mean, they, you know, it's awesome, and it's almost it's breathtaking, really, in the enjoyment. And I think also, and more importantly, I think how the show or Rock Lee or other characters from the show, you know, help people, you know, in their life, you know. And I think what's been really, really special for me playing Rock Lee is, you know, all the tenets of his character and the ethos of who he is, you know, are really just all the good stuff, right? That get us through life. It's the hard work, it's the perseverance, it's the persistence, it's the passion, it's really believing in yourself. Needing cheerleaders, of course, like Guy Sensei and everyone else, but ultimately, like, fighting through to be the best you can be. Because as we know, I mean, life is really hard and very challenging, and it can knock you around. And so, yeah, to play a character like that and to have fans of a character like that, there's a real appreciation for that, and there's a real admiration, and also a gratitude that is just phenomenal as an actor, because I'm a small piece of a very large pie, right? But really, to meet a fan that says, man, you know, Rock Lee and your character got me through high school, or being bullied in grade school and middle school, and you know, and hearing those stories is just, you know, as you can imagine, just super rewarding and special. And so, yeah, you know, but I think probably you know, to go back to your original question about, you know, is there anything I really remember, or stories, you know, I think the biggest one for me, and this goes to really about the fandom, is I got word from production that we, a few of us were gonna be part of a Make-A-Wish foundation for a young boy, and I didn't know he was gonna pick me, but he wanted to meet Rock Lee, me, and Naruto, Miley, and you know that. I mean, Make-A-Wish has been a part of my life for a very long time, in a peripheral way. But then to be a recipient, or to be someone's, you know, a recipient of Make-A-Wish, and be that wish for someone, was phenomenal. I mean, you know, and I'm very fortunate to report that that young man is still alive. He's still with us. Yeah. And so I wasn't the last person he met, thank God. Yeah, I didn't want to let him down that much. But yeah, I mean, you know, so he's still here. But you know, for the fans and your audience who doesn't know, you know, the Make-A-Wish Foundation grants wishes to typically terminally ill, you know, children who are fighting cancer or what have you. And they don't, very fortunately, don't all pass away or leave us. But it's a big deal. And yeah, it was an honor of a lifetime, you know, to be that for someone. And again, I'm a small part of a much bigger machine that is Naruto, in a world that is Naruto. And so, yeah, to be who we wanted to meet, you know, and then he and I went with his mom. We went to Hollywood Boulevard and walked all the stars, and you know, and I spent the day with him, and it was great. I mean, it was just really great. And to think that, you know, when you think about your own dreams and the things that you want to accomplish, and you never get that far. Like you don't get to figurines. You don't get to, oh, I'm going to be someone's Make-A-Wish someday. Like it doesn't even cross your mind. You just hope that, you know, you can make a dent in the entertainment industry. You hope you can make some money at it. You hope you can make a difference. But yeah, I mean, to make a difference at that level is nothing short of miraculous. So that's probably the biggest one. And but yeah, there's a lot of fun stories. There's a lot of fun stories in the studio, in the sessions, which, you know, with Mary Elizabeth, who's a, you know, iconic director in anime and Naruto, and you know, her and I had laughs and laughs and laughs. Jeff Nimoy was the first director, and he and I worked on Digimon together, and then we shot a film together called Famish, and so, you know, so not only are you working together, but you become friends, you know, because these things have lasted so long. And you know, I've known Jeff for 20 years, you know, and then he asked me, hey, do you want to do this movie with me in Famish, and you'll basically do a real jerk version of yourself and play Brian Donovan at this con, and so we went to GeekCon and shot this film, and then so that's really funny and available too to watch. But so it's fun. I mean, it's just all these kind of these things that intertwine in time and life. Yeah.
I could not recommend Famish enough. Also, since we
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because it's such a stark contrast from who you actually are as a person.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you that's documented.
Oh yeah.
I play a real jerk.
Guys, I'll include in the YouTube later, for the YouTube description, I'll include Famish's link as well. But you mentioned another role that I wanted to talk about next, and it was one of your more earlier roles. And that, of course, is the monumentally famous franchise Digimon, and of course the titular character, the one and only Davis. Now,
yeah.
just before we get too much into it, just give us a brief overview, how you got the role, any fun anecdotes, anything at all.
Yeah, it's as I said earlier, my first property series was Flint the Time Detective, and that was very short-lived, and it was going away, and I knew it was going to go away. And so when they were looking for Davis, and mind you, Davis and Digimon at that point, this was the second year. So there was a little more heavy lifting because they had this very successful franchise, and it was a bona fide hit, and they didn't want to mess it up. And so there was a lot of pressure to, who they were going to cast for Davis, who, obviously, gets the goggles from Ty and pass, the baton, so to speak. So that was a lot of pressure, I mean, it was a big hit, and I didn't want to blow it, but fortunately, because I had worked with the team, for Tony Goodman, and we all got along really well, they thought I would be perfect for Davis. So that was a true invite in the sense that, I mean, I still had to audition, and I still had to get past, the approval with the producers and a lot of the Japanese team. But I had big cheerleaders for me for that one. And, my team here in America was very, pro Brian Donovan to play Davis from Digimon. So that was awesome. And so then I just had to kind of do my thing. I ended up getting cast for it. And because it was a hit, it was super cool because because a lot of times when you work on stuff, movies and just a lot of stuff, you just don't know where they're going to land. You don't know if anybody's even going to ever see them. Like I've done so much stuff that no one's ever even seen, that you can't even find, and so to get a gig like that and know that it was already soaring and a big hit, and that it was popular, it was really fun. I mean, it was really, really fun. But I will note that whenever I said, "Oh yeah, I'm Davis on Digimon," I would say 9 out of 10 people would say, "Oh yeah, I know Pokemon," and I'm like, "No, I'm on Digimon," And so yeah, that was a big part of that journey on Digimon, was everyone would be like, "Oh, Pokemon," and so they always, I think, fans and people, certainly people that are vague about anime, would confuse the two series often. Not big fans, obviously, they knew the difference, but yeah, so that was a kick. I mean, we were always kind of overshadowed, I think, a little bit by Pokemon. And then, of course, Dragon Ball Z, came on the scene. And I think there's two camps typically. Like you'll talk to people and they're either Dragon Ball Z fans or, Digimon and Pokemon fans. But yeah, that was awesome, man. And again, the spirit of Davis, I think really aligns with who I am as a person, not the famous Brian Donovan in the movie, but more like the real me, Brian Donovan. But I think both characters like Rock Lee and Davis really align with a lot of who I am, the spirit of who I am, the passion. They both had very passionate characters. They're very loyal characters to their friends and their team, and they both have to persevere, and have to get better. They have to be better. They have to evolve. And evolve.
Digivolve. Oh, you stuck it in there.
Yeah, they digivolve. But they're growing as people and as human beings, and I think we all are. I mean, if we're doing the work, to become better in life, right? Then you're evolving. You're trying to. And I think both those characters, these very iconic characters that I've been fortunate enough to play, have evolved, in the series, as as anime characters.
Sure.
And so I'm proud of that, and it makes it a lot easier to play that and be proud of it, and also talk to the fans accordingly, because I'm a cheerleader for dreams. I'm also a cheerleader for for people going after goals and purpose and passion, and so my characters are very fortunately aligned with that, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, Digimon, yes, is that Digimon, Pokemon kind of, one, you pick a side, or sometimes you don't, but Digimon, the fandom, that from what I have experienced, and since I am a recent attendee of this fandom, I can totally see why. But I mean, Aaron, I know you're in the chat right now. They are just some of the most passionate fans ever. And I finally know why, because I recently started watching Digimon, and oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah, it's great. It is. It's great. It's a great show. And you're absolutely right about the fans. I mean, and we're talking 20 years later, right? But they are as passionate as today, if not more so than they were back in the day. And what's cool too is I'll run into fans, and they'll be cusping. Some of them will be cusping 40, because they watched it 20 years ago when they were I don't know, whatever, 6, probably on the young side to clear into their late teens. And so, yeah, you run into like these super fans that are, in their 40s, and it's awesome. It's a little jarring, but it's awesome, because you're just like, oh yeah, you watched. And but again, they'll recount their childhood in a way, it's almost like a great song, right? A great song that you love will take you right back to that moment, that first kiss, that whatever. And in a lot of ways, an anime series, I think has taken a lot of people through their childhood or their teen years, or into their 20s, and those are really hard years anyway. I mean, I don't know a human being out there that didn't stumble and bumble as a teen, trying to find out, who they really were and their identity, and just maneuvering, friends and parents and family, and just a lot going on in those years. They're tough years. And so, and I get that a lot. These are the conversations I have with fans at cons and otherwise, or doing stuff like this. It got them through a lot of those tough years. And so that's pretty cool, knowing, not obviously in real time and having interaction, but knowing and having conversations in hindsight, when someone's talking about it, going, yeah, you got me through those years, or, Digimon was what I looked forward to when I got home from school, or, whatever. I mean, it just got me through some tough stuff and or some dark times. And that's amazing. I mean,
What's all about
be in someone's life that way. Yeah. It's pretty spectacular and special.
Well, I want to make sure we have ample time to talk about Kelly's Hollywood, which is a very important film. We got one more character to talk about, guys. And guys, I cannot stress this enough. I am here today. My name is Zach Wilson, and I am here to right a wrong that the universe inflicted. I am here to talk about a show that did not get the credit it deserved. I want to talk about the one, the only, My Little Surfer Boy. If I can, nope, I hit the wrong button. Okay, give me one sec. This whole
yeah. No pressure.
All right, here we go. I want to talk about the one, the only, Shark from Alpha Teens on Machines.
That is awesome. Rock Lee, close your eyes. He doesn't mean anything. He doesn't mean by that. Yeah, Shark was awesome. And you're absolutely right. Adam, Alpha Teens on Machines did not get the love it deserved. It only played for 2 seasons. We had a blast making the show. The cast was incredible. Charlie Schlatter, it was directed by Sue Blue, the legendary Sue Blue. It was just so fun. I mean, I played a surfer dude, and because I've been in California for 30 years, it came pretty easy to me. And so it was really, it wasn't heavy lifting at all, and that's an expression, but he was easy to play. It was really fun. As I said, the cast was super fun. Tom Kenny was one of the cast, and so what's not to love about Tom Kenny, who plays SpongeBob, for those that don't know, and a million other characters. But to watch every week going into the studio and recording these episodes, to watch like guys like Tom Kenny, who's who's a legend, do his thing. You know, I mean, I'm really good at what I do. I'm very fortunate, and I was able to carve out a nice niche for myself. But you know, but there's next level, and Tom Kenny is next level. I mean, it's just watching him work every week was a master's class in voiceover and animation, and you know, he could do everything. The confidence was there, the repertoire was there. It was like a jukebox, you know. You push A24 and like the record comes out and it starts playing like this, you know, this voice. I'll just do this voice, and then I'll do this voice and that voice. And hey, Tom, can you cry? Can you do baby? And I'll be like, you know, and I just go right into it. And you're just like, oh my god. And then the next thing you know, he's playing a tough thug, you know, like, don't mess with me. And you know, and I can do that. I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed to have a very prolific career in my own right, but not like, again, that's next level, man, watching Tom Kenny work. But yeah, I mean, that's what I remember most from the show, was just how fun it was. You know, just the people I was fortunate to work with, and some of the best in the business, you know, and that was, you know, Clancy Brown was another one on the cast. Just amazing. And then there was a girl, the in the show, in the lead cast. It was her first gig, so you know, so you had some of these legends, and then you had, like, you know, their first gig, you know, actors, and so that was exciting too, you know, and how excited they were, like, scoring their first gig, you know. So it was a cool dynamic in the you know, in the thing. But I love that you're a super fan of that show, man, because it did not get the love it deserved. I thought it was gonna be a big hit. I mean, I think we all did, because it had all the elements. And it was super user friendly, you know. It was an easy, fun watch. But you know, you just never know. You never know what's gonna land and why. And you know, again, we never thought, you know, Naruto would last 800 plus episodes. You know, yeah, you just never know. I mean, I think about that all the time in LA. You know, which restaurant, why one restaurant makes it and another doesn't, you know, and it's just like, why one has a line, you know, around the block, and it takes an hour and a half to sit down for some waffles, and the diner across the street has nobody, and you're just like, I don't get it. But you know, there it is.
It's the way the cards fall, I suppose. But guys, I cannot stress this enough. Go check out Alpha Teens on Machines.
Yeah, I don't even know where you can find it. I guess you can find it somewhere. I'm sure you can, but yeah, check it out. It's fun.
All right, guys, real quick, we're about at the halfway point, but I did want to reiterate that a lot of you have either already messaged Visioncon directly or put it in the live chat, your viewers' comments and questions. You still have time to do so. I just want to remind you guys that is something you can do, and we'll get to those at the very end. But the next thing I want to talk about is something that the world definitely needs more of right now. It is a film called Kelly's Hollywood. It is incredibly wholesome. It has a message that, like I said, the world desperately needs right now. So let me bring it up on screen real quick. And Ryan, I want to know all about Kelly's Hollywood.
Well, thank you. Thanks, Zach. Yeah, man. I mean, that's my little sister, Kelly. She's my soulmate, you know. I mean, there's a spoiler alert. There's no easy way to say it, but she passed away in 2009, but you know, we were soulmates from a very young age. The film is a love story between my little sister and I. She was born with Down syndrome in 1969, but you know, I think the way you described it, it's so easy to recommend because it's just a feel good movie. Now, that's not to say you won't cry either. I mean, you'll laugh, you'll cry, and I always, you know, said to myself, I had hoped, you know, that if I ever made a film, that I would make a film, you know, that you're amongst your tears, you're laughing, and then you're crying again, and then you're laughing. And that's really the journey you go on with the film. But it's super easy to recommend because it's about dreams, and it's about realizing your dreams, and it's about believing in yourself, and that everyone is here for a reason, you know, and I can't emphasize that enough as a human being. You know, and that's the film. That film celebrates that. It celebrates love. And it also, I think it's a nice reminder of why we're here, you know, what we're doing here, and why we love, and why we get out of bed, you know. But yeah, that's my sister, and it takes you on an 82-minute journey, and it's a nice crescendo of her and I realizing our dreams. And again, I think it's a nice reminder to, and certainly anyone watching and your audience, that you're here for a reason, you know, and that your dreams matter, and don't be afraid to go after them. And the film is there it is. You know, and not only that, it's also very highly rated. So if you're a cinephile and you only go by 7.9 on IMDb or 5 stars on Amazon, it's been stamped with approval in that way too. So, but yeah, it's really fun. It's a great ride, especially if you love, Hollywood and, and just that backdrop. I mean, it's called Kelly's Hollywood for a reason. Hollywood's a character, if you will, in the film. Yeah, there you go. Nice. It's like Klieg lights. Yeah, but it's great. And my sister will crack you up. I mean, she's a wonderful protagonist, and she's super, super funny. And Digimon is in the film, and so is the Bee Gees and Colin Firth and Danny Pino, and I mean, just celebrity, nice celebrity kind of appearances and stuff too. So it's fun. It's a great ride. Bring Kleenex, make popcorn, grab someone you love, and it's free on Prime. What's not to love? It's free on Prime, and you can rent it for, what is it, $2.99.
$2.99. Buy HD for $10. But yeah,
that's right. And honestly, it'll make you feel better. This is a very trying time for all of us, in some of the same ways and in different ways, depending on your life and circumstance. But and there's, we're relying on entertainment to get us through it in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, I mean, it's in that way, you'll be glad you spent the 82 minutes with us, because it's a fun ride, and it'll get your mind off the crazy that we're living in right now for 82 minutes, and probably then some, because it'll linger. In fact, one of the great quotes I got from Kathy Morris, who's one of the leads on Cold Case, that CBS show long ago with Danny Pino, and she said it. How did she say it exactly? But she said something to the effect that it sits with you for weeks and weeks, and that there's no better really kind of stamp for me, because I feel like the best movies do. They just they keep getting in there. You think about them for weeks after, and so, yeah, I mean, very fortunate to make a film like that. So anyway, but thanks for the plug. I really appreciate it. It's been a nice synergy between my anime career and this film, in fact, which I didn't really plan on when I was making it, but like, the characters I played and my sister, they weren't born with a lot of natural talent, right? That's the journey of Rock Lee. And the odds were always against him. But because he believed in himself so much and tried so hard for the world to recognize the talents he did have and the talents that he worked at, to be better, to become his best self, is really the journey of my sister. And they both realized their dreams, right? And so it's possible. It's possible, as Rock Lee says, as he's quoted often. And really, in the film, if I should surmise the 82 minutes of Kelly's Hollywood, it is exactly that. Dreams don't come easy, but they are possible. So it's been a nice synergy. I've been able to work, both things in and speak about them in that way, which has been really fun.
Guys, it's all primed up in my personal Amazon Prime account. And listen, I know WandaVision just came out. Believe me, I was reminded that the show reminded me that I actually have a Disney Plus subscription. So believe me, I know. But guys, watch this movie. It looks phenomenal. The second that, my whole family's ready to watch it, I have it, like I said, primed up on my own Amazon Prime account. So watch it. I got those links down in the description box below if you're watching this later on YouTube, or if you're watching this live on Facebook, got it right there in the live chat.
Yeah, and let me know what you think. If you come to it, certainly Zach, you'll let me know when you watch it with your mama or whoever else. But yeah, reach out to me on Instagram and stuff, and let me know what you think, because I always love hearing about how my sister Kelly made the world a better place. So
I can already tell that she would. But guys, now if you have not already, either message Visioncon directly or put it in the live chat, your viewers' comments and questions. Now is your last chance to do so, because, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the plug zone.
Yeah,
Brian
baby.
Donovan, now is your opportunity to plug, promote, advertise, whatever verb you want to use. Fun. Floor is yours, sir.
Well. Yeah, look, I watch Kelly's Hollywood, watch Famish, if you're into cons, and clearly you are. I've been watching this show, and Zach and I. That's really fun. It's a really fun ride. We shot it at a live con, Geek Con, and it really gets in there, and you get a little bit of everything. So Famish is fun. You know, I'm working on some stuff too. I shot a pilot for a television pilot, so hopefully that'll come out this year. But yeah, you know, reach out to me. I mean, I love, oh yeah, there's a few of the things I've done coming up next, and we'll be right back after these messages. Digi Armor Energize. Come on, guys, we got to go to the digital world. What else? Well, there's Shark at the top. Yeah, and Goosebumps and Jet X. I was the announcer for Disney for many years. And then of course, Rock Lee. I'll do Rock Lee for you guys. I'm Rock Lee of Hidden Leaf Village. Leaf Hurricane! There you go. There's that one. Oh, there's Peter Pan. Fly, of course. It's easy. All you got to do is to, you know. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I mean, I love you guys reaching out. I'm on Instagram, probably certainly the most accessible for anime fans. It's Brian Donovan _1. I think Zach will tee that up too. But and if you are interested, what I got? I got prints. I'll do audio messages and videos for you guys, and I got a few Rock Lee pops. So if you are interested in any of that, just reach out and private message me on Insta, and I'm happy to knock those out. I mean, there's a little menu of prices and options and stuff, but yeah, and I apologize. A lot of people ask me, you know, can you do it for free? And I do kind of pick and choose those, and I do a bunch of them at the end of the year for charity. But you know, I hope you understand it's also how I make a living, and I got 2 little kids. So I hope you can respect that. I know it's hard, but anyway, and I'll work with you if you're struggling. I definitely work with people, and I try to be sympathetic to that too, especially now with all the crazy that's going on in the world. But yeah, that's my plug, man. But more of my plug is just, you know, believe in yourself. You know, I mean, as Naruto would say, believe it. You know, it's just, that's my plug. You know, I want what's best for you guys, and to thank you for all your support and fandom through the years. But you know, believe that you're here for a reason, you know, and that the things that you want to do and the purpose that you have and the passion that you find, and you may or may not actually know what that is right now. And especially if you're younger. I mean, I didn't really know, like I kind of was feeling my way around when I was younger, and that's okay. But, you know, at some point in your life, you're going to have this little voice that says, do this, you know, some crazy voice, whatever, do it. And yeah, just, you know, just know that you can. It comes with a lot of hard work. I mean, again, as I said, there's no shortcuts. But if you're willing to do the work, your dreams can come true, and the things that you really want to do. And that doesn't have to be, you know, Hollywood glamour, you know, stuff. You know, in fact, I try to remind people that a lot, because, you know, Hollywood and all that shine, you know, is kind of draws people, and people don't feel like they're doing something worthwhile unless it's got that Hollywood shine. But they are. I mean, really, you know, that's just a small part of the world we live in, and it gets a lot of the press and the attention. But you can change the world in many other ways that have nothing to do with Hollywood. In fact, more often than not, they don't have anything to do with Hollywood at all. So never forget that. And then, you know, really truly, you never know the ripple that you create with the things that you do either, and the lives that you affect with those choices you make. So that's my plug.
Well, I've got all those links in the live chat if you're watching this live on Facebook, or if you're watching this later on YouTube, going to be down there in the description box below. And yes, guys, for those of you who are wanting to order, you know, voice clips or prints, yes, Brian Donovan is a very nice guy, but he's a very nice guy who likes to eat. So pay attention.
yeah, my pineapple and pepperoni pizza and my coffee ice cream. Yeah, but they're fun to do, man. I have done some some really fun requests, and you know, and of course they're all personalized and stuff, but they're fun. So yeah, if you want something like that, or a present for, a lot of people get them for presents, or, you know, birthday presents for other people and stuff, and I love doing that, you know, and just that connection. But yeah, check it out and get a hold of me on Insta.
Mm-hmm. All right, and guys, we're going out of the plug zone and going right into our final segment, viewers' comments and questions. So,
yeah, baby.
As always, I'm going to pull them all from the Messenger and the live chat, so everybody gets a fair shot. So give me just one sec. All right, so Chris tuned in, just said, round 2, let's go. Yeah, for those of you, thanks for tuning in, Chris, and everybody else who was there earlier today for Tiffany Grant for episode 48.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay, so Aaron tuned in and said he had a couple questions. The first one being, if Davis went on a date with Elsa, the Snow Queen, so from Frozen, would he prefer her in the blue dress or the white dress? Interesting, interesting choice, Aaron.
Aaron, I think I know who this is. Hey, Aaron, what's happening, brother? I would say blue because I think it would complement Digimon's, flame jacket and stuff a little better. Although the white would pick up the fur trim, so maybe it's a toss up, dude. I don't. Yeah, probably a toss up. Maybe. If she really loved me, she would do like a hybrid dress, kind of like right down, maybe or top to bottom or right down the middle. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Great question. Nice way to fire it up.
Well, Cassie tuned in and just said, it's so nice seeing that the voice actor to one of my favorite characters ever is so nice.
Thank you.
And then Felicia also tuned in and said, not a question, more of a statement, but Rock Lee is the best boy.
Woo! I agree. 100%. 100%. Yeah, did you hear that, Rock Lee? Woo! Yeah. Woo! Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's been so much fun to play, really just so much fun to play and so emotionally charged. And those were always the most fun episodes to record was, when he was just so off the wall, and emotional and these crazy outbursts, either of love or passion to fight or train or guy sensei, yeah, I mean, what a blast. I mean, so fun.
Well, Keith tuned in and said, hey Brian, loved you in Famish. Do you have any fun stories while filming Famish?
Oh, well, thanks, man. Thanks for seeing the movie. Appreciate it. And I'll make sure Jeff knows you watched it too. Yeah, I mean, honestly, what was so crazy about it was it was my first con. Like I hadn't done any cons prior to shooting that film in 2018. It was September of 2018. And so when Jeff asked me, he said, we're going to shoot it at a live con. I was like, oh, I've never done a con. And so, here I am, I'm playing this, actor who's, done a million cons, and you've seen the movie, right? And a lot of my lines are like, yeah, whatever. And, I'm just, you can't do them for free and all this, this stuff. And he's just a jerk. But he looks like a veteran con goer. And so, yeah, I kind of had to learn the ropes, but it was awesome. The Geek Con was amazing. It was in Madison, Wisconsin. And so it wasn't a huge con, but it was a great place to get my feet wet. And just the cast was awesome, and the fans were awesome, and the con goers were awesome because we used a lot of the con goers and the fans in the movie. I mean, we needed all these extras, and so all these people attending the con were just shocked, A, that we were shooting a movie there about cons, and B, saying hey, we need a one-liner here, or we need someone to play this, and like real fan people like asking us questions or confronting us, and you've seen the movie, and so that was awesome seeing like the fans light up, and be a part of like just seeing, like being at the con, being in a movie about cons, and then of course being with some of these actors that they dug, and being in a scene with these these character actors that they've followed and have done some of their iconic favorite characters, and so yeah, it was just a blast. I mean, we had such a good time, and sadly that con went away the next year. They were having financial difficulties, and so we were going to premiere the movie back at the con.
Yeah.
And it never happened. So that was a little disappointing, to say the least. But and then of course the world changed, and we haven't done live cons in 10 months now, which is a big drag. But they'll come back, and but yeah, it was really fun, and so it got my feet wet. So that's what I remember most, is like, oh my God, this is a con, like. And I was always so busy prior to that, and it was really a lot of my life was with the documentary that we talked about for many years, and so I was slow to go to cons, but they're awesome, they're so fun, and the fans are amazing, and yeah. But thanks for watching the film. I really appreciate it. That's super cool. And Jeff was funny when he approached me. He's like, hey, I really want you to be in this movie, but I wrote it like you playing you, but you're a jerk, And so he was afraid of, like, he's really worried that I would be like, no way, man. But I thought it'd be fun. It's almost like improv. You say yes and you see what happens, and so I said yes and And then we were in Madison, Wisconsin shooting.
There you go.
Yeah, it was fun.
We're running a little short on time, guys. So we got time for 2 more questions. So
Yeah.
the next question is going to be from Connor, who tuned in.
Yeah,
and
Connor.
said, besides Guy and Lee, what are some characters from Naruto that you would like to have lunch with?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, Sakura, of course. I mean, I've been pining for her the whole damn series. Most people think 1010's my baby mama for metal. So I suspect, me, 1010, and Sakura, that'd be like a crazy love triangle lunch where, I'm really in love with Sakura, but I'm got a baby, pregnant, 1010. Who knows? And I can't even really verify who the mother of metal is. They never told me. But yeah, I mean, that'd be a fun lunch and a crazy lunch, I'm sure. And probably I mean, Gara would be an interesting lunch, right? Just sitting down, in the history of that and the evolution of obviously my character, but also Gar's character too.
I remember that cool time when you almost crippled me for life.
yeah. That'd be an interesting. It'd be cool to actually churn those out. Like it'd be fun if the animation houses, like spit out like just conversational stuff, like actually animated those. That'd be cool, man. Because I think the fans would really dig that. Because I get that question. I mean, not every time, but I get that question enough where it's like, who would you sit down to, with lunch? And it'd be funny to pontificate, with Gara and actually have Rock Lee and Gara talk about like these kind of fan questions, well animated. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be fun.
And also, to my knowledge, we never really got any closure on that. I mean, Gar was never like, "Hey, man, sorry for almost crippling you for life."
No, we did not. Yeah, it'd be fun to revisit over some, some pizza pie and some ice cream.
There you go.
Or some mac and cheese if you show up, Zach. I'll have some mac and cheese. Take your meds though. Take your meds.
Absolutely gonna take my meds. All right, last question, and it's kind of in a similar vein. I was trying to decide which one to ask for the final question. Allison tuned in and said, "Hey, Donovan." Or Mr. Donovan, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Very formal.
I missed the Mr. Hey, Mr. Donovan, I just want to know, and you probably can't confirm this, but who is Metal's mom?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I would tell you if I knew, but no one's really said it. I mean, it's just kind of this mystery. Like I said, if I had to bet, I would say 1010, which is kind of cool because I actually always dug 1010's character while I was recording the show and whenever, her lines and stuff bled into my recording session. Because often, depending on when you recorded, sometimes like all the rest of the character was still in Japanese. And so you were kind of starting, to record. And then at other times, you would be recording, and some of the American voice actors have already been there, and so you would get some of that bleed and stuff. But I always thought 1010 was awesome, and I suspect Sakura to the end was like, ain't gonna happen, Rock, and so I went over and sashayed as best I could over to 1010 and said, me and you, baby.
Miss every shot.
Yeah, me and you. But yeah, 1010. I guess I don't know. Cannot confirm or deny. I wish I could because it's good gossip.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 49 of Visioncon Live. Before we wrap things up, Brian, any final thoughts or sage-like wisdom to leave us on?
Well, I already said it. Dreams can come true. And like Rock Lee says, man, you work hard, dreams can come true, and you don't necessarily have to do 2,000 push-ups. But yeah, I mean, and, I think too is just have compassion for yourself. I think we forget that I think that part of the equation, we're always so hard on ourselves. And Rock Lee was, he took the cake for being hard on himself, and he prospered because of it. But I also think you have to be compassionate with yourself. And I think, whenever we can, either if we're brushing our teeth in the mirror or laying on our pillow at night before we fall asleep, give yourself a little pat on the back and say, you're doing the best you can, and if you're not doing the best you can, then that's okay. The next day you can start fresh with a clean slate and try a little harder. But But yeah, just have compassion for yourself, especially during this very trying time and these challenging times that we live in. But just know if you are in a dark time, that the light will find you. It will find you. And because I know a lot of us are struggling right now, and I know that Rock Lee and as I said, a lot of my characters have really helped a lot of people through tough times. So if that's where you're at, just take the tenets and the philosophies, if you will, of Rock Lee, and just know that it'll get better. And if the light has found you, Yahoo, man! I hope the wind's at your back, and you flourish and shine, and I hope to see you at a live con, sooner than later. I mean, I think we're all jonesing for a little live, and hugs. Like, who doesn't miss hugs? Yeah, so, but yeah, I hope to hug you guys and meet you in person at a live con sooner than later, hopefully later this year,
I know
certainly by fall.
I know I say this a lot, but I truly, truly could not have said it better myself.
Well, there you go. Brilliant. Anyway, Zach, thank you so much. And thank you everybody that was here tonight or watches it, recorded later. It's been a pleasure, man. You're a great guy, and thank you so much.
Oh my God. Before I start crying, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 49 of Visioncon Live. Thank you so much for watching. I, of course, am your host, Zach Wilson, but much more importantly, this has been my very special guest, Brian Donovan. Make sure to check out all the links down in the description box below. And always remember, guys, that life's better when you have friends to share it with.
There you go. That's a great cherry on top.